Howdy folks. Now, shrub is usually sort of a summer activity for me, but it is apple season and I did have some leftover cranberries from Thanksgiving. So we're gonna make some sort of wintertime shrubs today, and I've got a kind of a highball template that you can utilize to use your shrubs in a sort of wintertime highball. Let's go. Now, two shrubs I'm making are apple and cranberry. I've made apple shrub before on the channel, and you can go check that video out. This year I grabbed 3 different apples from the store. I got an opal, a cosmic crisp, and a Granny Smith. Those should have slightly different flavors and maybe combine to make a good apple shrub. I also, since I know apples don't carry a ton of flavor, I went ahead and did clove and allspice when I macerated the fruit, and I used apple cider vinegar as usual for the apple shrub. There's lots of shrub videos on this channel, and I'll leave a link to a playlist where you can see all of them if you're curious about the method. Now, the cranberries were a bit more of an adventure. I had never made cranberry shrub, so it was a bit more of a trial and error situation. For one thing, it took a long time for the sugar to sort of do its work, get into those berries and suck the juice out. I think 2 things are going on. Cranberries have a very sort of thick skin, and they're not very juicy. So I mashed them up a couple times a day with a potato masher to try and break up the skins and get the sugar in there. That worked pretty well. But it still took like 3 or 4 days for the sugar to get, red and saturated with cranberry juice. But it did eventually work. I did add a little water when I was straining it out to sort of help dissolve the leftover sugar. Now, one way around this is you could heat up the cranberries with the sugar and sort of make a sauce that way first and then add vinegar. I didn't want to do that because I was worried about the pectin in the cranberries. I know at Thanksgiving you make like cranberry sauce and it comes out this sort of thick, gloopy, gelatinous thing because of all the pectin in the cranberries. And I didn't want a gloopy, thick shrub. I wanted to keep it more liquid, so I decided not to heat it, although that might be worth a try. Now, once it was done, I tried it. I used Pinot Noir vinegar. I decided these cranberries weren't super flavorful either. I decided some spices would be good, so I just, after the fact, I poured the shrub back into a container. I put in some cloves and some orange peels, because that seemed like cranberry kind of flavors. That worked out great. And if you're not satisfied with the flavor of your shrub, you can alter it afterwards. You can do whatever you want. Flavor it afterwards, you can add more sugar, you can add more vinegar. Don't be afraid to mess around with it after the fact. So the cranberry shrub came out pretty well. I do really like it just as a soda. It's a little harder to use in a cocktail because it's pretty subtle flavor. So, on to shrub highballs. For the apple shrub highball, I decided to think about drinks like the flannel shirt that use apple cider. So I decided to do 2 ounces of bourbon, 3/4 of an ounce of apple shrub, 1/2 ounce of Averna, and 1/2 ounce of cinnamon syrup. You could put bitters in this too if you wanted. There's no rules. All right, let's see how this came out. This first one is the bourbon apple Averna one, sort of flannel shirt, but longer, more refreshing. I think that is terrific. It's got a nice balance, and it's so rich with the fall flavors. The cinnamon comes through. You get a little bit of bitterness from that Averna, and tartness from the vinegar. That's amazing. The bourbon is a little sweet. I think it's well balanced, refreshing, Christmassy, I guess. Yeah, this is delicious. I love it. So for the cranberry one, it came out a lot more subtle, and so I thought maybe if I use vodka as the spirit, it will showcase the cranberry flavors a little bit more. And so for this I was thinking about, drinks like a vodka cranberry juice or some kind of Cosmo or something. So I did 1.5 ounces of vodka, 1 ounce of cranberry shrub, 1/2 ounce of orange liqueur for the sweetener, and then a little bit of Campari, 1/2 ounce of Campari for a little zazz. So you could build this in the glass, of course, but I'm stirring it in a mixing glass first so I can pour the soda water and the drink in together. To help mix it up, I found that if you pour the drink in first and then the soda water on top, it's very watery on top. I want to try and combine these two as they go in. Let's try the cranberry one. By the way, at the thrift store I found these little sphere molds, sphere ice molds, and like it's like a 6 spheres at a time mold. They're okay. All right, let's give this a try. Whoa. So the Campari is definitely lending a tart aspect. Oh, but you get like a cranberry aftertaste. That's pretty good. Maybe next time a little less Campari. But this is much lighter, a much sort of breezier drink. Maybe more of a summer drink. I don't know. I don't usually drink a ton of vodka, and you could definitely do this with something like a very light rum. I mean, Campari is a real kind of a grapefruit kind of vibe to me, and the cranberry citrus combo here I think is pretty good. Shrub Highball template. 1.5 ounces to 2 of spirit, 3/4 of an ounce to 1 ounce of shrub, and then 1 ounce or so of sweeteners and extra flavor agents. So Amari or sugar syrup, or Orange Curacao for sweetening, whatever you feel like, whatever seems like it would go good with the flavor of the shrub. And as always, your shrub probably came out different than mine, so play around until you find something that you enjoy. Let me know if you do it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from people. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.